Hello. Alright, looks like everything's working. Hello. It seems like this might be a little bit higher than usual. Better? Okay. Hello. SolarLune here, and I am an independent game developer working on an adventure game. The game's called I Know Who I Am, and I'm making it in the Godot game engine. So yeah, hello. Welcome. So I'll show a little bit of what I have here. Chat says hello. What's up? Ivan Armstrong is speaking German? German? I can't speak German, so unfortunately I don't have much I can say, but I'll see if I can translate it. Friendly Soul says hello, hello. How's it going? I have a general idea of what you might be saying, but great music. Okay, thank you, Ivan. how did you do that with Sunbox? Okay. Well, and do you understand German? No, unfortunately, I don't understand German. I'm translating this. I don't. It's complex. It's hard to. I mean, you know, it takes time to make something like that in Sunbox. Just like it takes time to make it in other software as well. So there's not really anything I can say, unfortunately, that would like make it easy to do. It's just put time into it, repeat, you know, work on the sound, work on the synths, and really just work on the overall song progressively over time. I suppose that would be it. Friendly Soul says, good. Also working a bit on my game. Thought I'd see how other game devs use the engine. Oh, excellent, excellent. Glad to hear you're another Godot game dev stopping in. And Daniel says, yay for another stream, and hello, hello. So yeah, I was going to originally stream this using Restream, but unfortunately I found out that basically if you're a Twitch partner, you can't restream the same stream or send the same stream to other locations as well, to other stream destinations, other platforms. So even though I'm not a Twitch partner yet, it didn't really make sense to do much with Restream and Twitch if I'm basically going to have to just stop using Twitch or focus on Twitch, which is a much lower user base for me, for my audience, than YouTube. It didn't really make sense. So I'll probably just keep going with YouTube unless everybody and their mom says like, oh, I would rather watch you on Twitch. I would, you know, much rather watch you on Twitch. In which case, I can see about moving it there. But for now, YouTube streaming is where I currently am. Well, Ivan says, I can understand English. It's very similar to German, but I can't write English. Oh, okay. Excellent. Okay. So then I'll see if I can communicate and communicate a little bit. Friendly says, game dev might be a stretch, but I'm trying. I've tried streaming on both YouTube. Both YouTube streaming was my bread and butter as well. Oh, okay. So then, yeah, it's interesting to try YouTube or Twitch and kind of try different platforms, see what works out the best for everybody or for your audience. If you're new and you're not like making videos, then Twitter might be better. But if you're making videos, then YouTube might be more convenient because that's where everyone might be already. Ivan says, why? Basically has a question about my skin. Check the link in the description. It's a skin condition called vitiligo, and that's what it is. All right, so we did quite a bit last time, and I think I did a little bit since then, possibly. I don't quite remember, because basically I was very busy over the weekend. I didn't get a chance to work on this very much at all, but let's see what we have so far. So last time we left off, we just animated the water, I believe, and we were working on the park here. So let's see what we have. I'm boosting the audio. think I know what's going on. So I added the ability to... Okay, well, let me... So I should be able to click to like walk, and I can't do that right now. So I'm thinking that there might be... There's something that's in the way. I think it might be that the map is in the way. Let me see if that's the case, because there should be a way to prove this. Friendly says, I know it's been mentioned before, but I love the art and the music and the feeling of the game portrays. Super charming game. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that it's turned out at least possibly okay. I think this is where I need it. Or... Okay, never mind. Godot is just tripping right now. Oh, I forgot that I have to commit this. There we go. Ivan says, I'm sorry if that offended you. Oh, no problem. I understand. And you found a translator, and then he has to go. Okay, see ya. Thank you very much for stopping by and yeah, watching the stream there. Always a pleasure to have people coming through and asking questions about the game and about myself as well. All right, so this what we're trying to do. I think this isn't working because... Yeah, okay. I think this isn't working because the plane where the player can click isn't on the same plane, essentially, as the rest of the game. So I think that basically, like, the map, we moved the map up, or moved the map around, and I think that kind of messed with some things. So I'll see if we can fix this by making the click area z-index. I think it has to be really high. Let's try that. Nope. Let's see. I can't click in the center of the screen. I wonder if it is something in the GUI then. Might be this. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So something that I wanted to do, if possible, is find a way to actually navigate. Now, how I'm going to do that is... Whew, I don't know about that, but we'll see if we can get it to work. Actually, before I do this, let me actually test this to make sure that you can actually still choose stuff. Cool, that works. Okay. Alright, now what we're going to do is commit this. Cool. Alright, now what we want to do is we want to try out navigation. And at the time of this video or this stream, as far as I can tell, Godot's documentation is not working at the moment, so I won't online. So, oh no, it got fixed. Okay, good. So it's working again. Excellent, excellent. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna try this. Try this navigation. Let me see if I can get this work. Okay, so for navigation 2D, it basically says, okay, get the closest point, get a simple path. Okay. So get closest point, returns the navigation point closest to the point given. Points are in local coordinate space. Get closest point owner, returns the owner of the navigation polygon, which contains the navigation point closest to the point given. Okay, so what we probably want to do is we probably see, this is where I kind of stopped before, because I actually implemented 2D navigation successfully. The only issue was that basically things that aren't part of the, let me pull up the tile, things that aren't part of the collision bounds of the map aren't factored in to the navigation path, to the navigation navigation map, essentially. And that's where it kind of stopped working. So I'll see if I can kind of get this to work again, so I can kind of determine if this will at all work ever, or if this is just a problem that's unsolvable in its current capacity. We'll go pull up the player. Actually, okay, so the navigation 2D is a 2D navigation and pathfinding node. It gets the closest point, it gets a simple path. Instance. So this method is going to basically involve getting the outlines of maps and then making navigation polygons from them and then proceeding that way. But the problem with this method is that while we can get the actual shapes using like the maps collision polygon 2D, like this is a valid shape that we can use to basically get the outline, make an outline for a navigation polygon. But the problem is, like, it still contains this shape. You can't walk through here, but it thinks you can. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the proper way to do this. Add outline, add polygon. And from what I can tell, there's no way to basically say, like, oh, I want to convert this to a... You can make a new navigation polygon. Okay, so there's two sides to this. One side is a map like this, where basically there's like an outer bounds, and then the rest of the map is just basically blocked out like this. Whereas in this map, what's blocked out is the walls of the map. It's kind of a different approach. So let's do this. What we'll do, because I'd like to try this at least to see if it's at all possible, I'm going to go ahead and basically just start off with this map, the map that starts the game essentially, that I know pretty well, and see if I can get navigation working on this map. We have the solidity mesh essentially generated here in tiled, or just designed here in tiled, which is fine because that tells the player where he can and can't walk, and that's very good for us as well, because this should allow us to tell, like, oh, this is our walkable area, or navigationable area as well. But the problem is that these individual blocks here don't factor into this outline. So it comes back to, like, how do I navigate around, I guess in this example, how do I navigate around a non-walkable object? So let me look that up. Alright, so there's a demo specifically for navigation. But it doesn't. Well, let's see. Let's see, because I'm not sure if it actually is not going to do what I think it's going to do, or what's the true nature of this here. And that is the only demo. Okay, so let's go ahead and see this real quick. Okay, so I'll try to import this demo and see exactly how they do it. I have a pretty strong suspicion of how they do it and what it's going to be, but I just need to confirm it. Alright, so we want to import. Alright, so this should work. Let's see. Oh, whoops. Yes. Okay, so what I think this is probably going to do and be, yeah, is pretty much what I thought it would do and be. It's just sprite. Okay, agent is just a sprite. Centered. And the code just navigates. Got it. Okay. This is pretty much what I thought what it was and was going to be. Essentially, it's just reading. It's just a linear, like, it's just using the navigation path, the navigation polygon, which is fine, except, like, if I put something in the way, it won't know what to do. So let's try using this as a basic example, so we can kind of understand what to do in certain cases. So we'll add a child node, or wait, collision shape. This will be a rectangle. we'll make this 32 by 32. We'll move this over here. Oh yeah, and we want it to be a static body. Transform, put this back to 0, 0. There we go, okay. Okay, so what this should do... Oh, it's because it's a sprite, okay. So we want to change this so that it's no longer just a sprite, but rather kinematic body, I guess. Cool. So now we go to script, agent, you know. All right, let's try that. See if that works properly. I don't think so. Yeah, it's just moving it like this. What we would rather do because it's just basically like teleporting him. We don't want to teleport him. We want to like actually move his... We want to actually move his, like move him so that he'll collide with things, essentially. Or actually, let's do it like this. Because I guess it doesn't matter whether he moves. It doesn't matter exactly how it works. What is more important is the navigation it gets, right? So like, if we put this, if we put this static body on this path, and he's here and we click here, it should just not go through this path. That's essentially what we want. Now, how do we implement that is the question. Yeah, that's what, like none of the information I'm seeing online talks about this rather specific, or rather straightforward. It seems like thing. Hold on. Got it. Okay, so I'm looking through the Reddit for Godot, and it's it's kind of what I thought it was. I think I probably will just end up needing to make my own 2D pathfinding system, because it seems like essentially you can't update the pathfind system, the navigation poly, to like subtract a shape from the polygon. It seems like it's just not really made for that, which is understandable. But at the same time, it's kind of important for pathfinding. Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do, whoops. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do it ourselves, because all the information does not show, for that I'm saying, doesn't show basically this. It doesn't show this pretty simple, straightforward. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't say anything. All right. Well, let's go ahead and see if we can do it ourselves. Lamio says, what behavior are you trying to implement? Essentially, I'm trying to implement this for my game. But the problem that I have is that in my game, the navigation polygon isn't fixed. So in this example, let's say like this is my player character and he's here and he wants to go over here, but there's a block in the way here. That block can move or be spawned or whatever. But if I click over here, he shouldn't go through the block, right? He should go around. The navigation polygon implementation for Godot is static. You can change it, but you can't. It won't take into account other objects in the game world, which is understandable. But because of the fact that it's a navigation polygon, you can't easily change it to say like, oh, block off this area. It'd be nice if there was basically a subcategory of navigation polygon within a navigation polygon that says like this is a no pass polygon or something like that. But yeah, the current implementation is something like this, which is, it's fine until you have something like, oh, you press the switch and now there's a gate, there's a door here, right? There's like a gate that crosses this area, and now when you click here, you can't pass through it. It shouldn't even navigate this way. It should go all the way around. But instead, it doesn't know that. There's no way to really implement that easily. Lamio says, right, that's what I figured. I implemented something similar in my game based on a KKC tutorial, if I recall correctly, where if you have a polygon to the path, it updates the path to fit the new conditions. If you had a polygon to the path, it updates the path to fit the new conditions. Get simple path. Let me do a search, and Lamus is doing a search there. Thank you very much if you can find it. I'll go ahead and search on my side to see if I can find some information about this on my side. But yeah, I think that what I might end up doing is just if I can't find any alternatives, I'll have to make my own pathfinding system, which I've done before several times across a couple languages, basically A*-ish. So it's not really a huge deal. It's just I don't want to have to do stuff if I don't have to. But if I have to, then that's just the way it is. Let me do a quick search on my side here. You can get outlines, you can get polygons, you can get vertices, you can make well, let me get some music going as well, because I've just been quietly going for the past hour. So yeah, let's get some music here. Nope. That's fine. Alright, there we go. Stepa says it's really easy to implement a star in Godot. And I thought I saw someone mention, yeah, there is an A star. Okay, so there is an A star node. You can't. Okay, so you can't place it, but it does exist already. Remove point. Is point disabled? Alright. So maybe I'll do this. Yeah, I guess maybe I'll do this. Alright. So let's see if we can do this then. Quick project list, yes. I know who I am. Alright, so what we're gonna do here. And this has already gotten on my nerves. This music has already gotten on my nerves a little bit. Let's get something different. It's opening in Audacity. Yeah, that's too creepy. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Classic. Alright. Sepa says you can use tile maps with a star. Lamuel says I can't find the tutorial, but I was looking at my own code. Looking at the code you were using, you have an update path function that gets called before the navigation, the movement part of the actual navigation, if I recall correctly. Let me do a check here. Update. Let's see. Limo says, I mean in your code, not on the navigation code. The code that you're using for that tutorial has an update path function. Oh. Yes, yeah, so it does update the path, but this just gets a simple path from one point to another. So from here, like, this part, if you call this in process, then it checks and recalculates the proper path on every frame using the navigation 2D you provide. That's what I'm doing in my game. Yeah, that's correct. Just call that function in process before the movement. No, well, okay. That won't work though, because basically, like, there's no way to tell the navigation polygon, the navigation polygon instance, that this is not a valid path. Like, if you say, oh, give me a path from point A to point B, it's going to give you this path. There's no way to say like, I mean, you could say like it'll just stop here, but if you want it to like go around, that's something that the navigation polygon would have to know about. It has to basically say this is not a valid path. This doesn't exist, essentially. You can't go from this point to this point through here. It has to go through here. And there's no built-in method to the navigation polygon instance or the navigation 2D, I guess. No, to basically say like, well, I guess it would be the navigation polygon instance that basically would say this isn't a valid path. It needs to find a different way, a secondary route. If you just say like, oh, you know, I'm going from point A to point B and there's something in my way, let me just chop the path off. Like, you can do that, but that kind of weakens the idea of navigation, right? It should be automatic. So if you're trying to go from point A to point B and there is a valid secondary route, it should find that route. Unless I'm misunderstanding what you mean, but if I'm understanding it, like, it doesn't seem to support it in its fundamental form. So I think what we're gonna have to do is try A-star pathfinding, which is gonna be a little interesting to do it automatically in this example. So let's do this. We're gonna open up the game map. Lamio says, I might have misunderstood what you mean, but KCC seems to have implemented what you're mentioning. I'm not sure who KCC is. Oh, kids can code. Okay. Lamio says he adds polygons to the path on runtime and the path changes. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. The problem is that if you place something in the pathway, like if I place a block, a static body 2D here, it doesn't modify the navigation polygon. So because of that, it will still try to get a path from this point to this point. Or if I place a block. If I place a block here, this is an example. Like, this is a vase and there's a static body here. If I try to navigate from the player's position here, it will go through the vase and it will just stop because he can't literally move through the vase. But then the path will take him through the vase because the vase doesn't modify the navigation polygon fundamentally. The polygon exists in its current state. There's no way to subtract from the polygon or to disallow a square or a arbitrary polygon from that area. Friendly says, thanks for the entertainment. I'm going to spend some time with my fiance to take care. Hey, thanks for coming through. Well appreciated. Lamio says, you can see that starting in 1425 in the video I linked above. What video? You didn't link anything. At least I didn't see it. He's placing a block in the way and the mobs are changing the path to go around it. It depends on how he's doing it, but if the block is part, like, it's possible that the way he's doing it is, yeah, there's nothing that you're posting in chat. I don't know, maybe there's something, is it being pasted? Because yeah, I definitely don't see anything that you're posting in chat, Lamios. I'll PM it to you on Discord. Okay. Yeah, okay. He's doing pathfinding with tile maps. So that's the way that tile maps work. Like each tile in a tile map, I believe, has its own navigation, like, polygon associated with it. So because of that, you can place a tile that has a navigation polygon and then just add that polygon to the overall navigation path or navigation polygon to be like factored in when you navigate. But my game's different because there's no navigation associated with any of the tiles here. So because of that, rather than adding navigation to all of these tiles, instead, what I'm going to do is do it myself, essentially, because it's not quite the same thing. The way he's doing it is basically if you're working with Godot and you have the tiles set up in Godot and you have the navigation map set up in Godot for each tile. But if you don't have the navigation map set up in Godot, then you can't really take advantage of it. It works if you do, but yeah, if you don't, then it doesn't work. And it doesn't work if you play something that's not a solid tile. That's solid. Like if you have something, if I understand it correctly, if he was to play something in his game that is solid, but it's not a solid tile, the path won't update correctly. Like if you were to place a barrel in the way, like an instance of a barrel that has a solid static body 2D in the way of the path wouldn't know like, oh, I should walk around that. It would just be like, oh, I'm just going to go straight because the tile that's under the barrel says it's fine. So you really want a little. If you have a non-trivial game, you probably do want to end up making that. What it seems like is that you probably do want to end up making it yourself, making the pathfinding yourself. Unfortunately. All right, but I think we're on the right path. I think that it's very helpful. Thank you, Lamios, because I think you basically just kind of hit the nail on the head on confirming that it's not really going to work the way that it could. And it would be nice if it did, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to work here. So we're going to end up doing this manually. Alright, so what we want to do is search for the A star. There's an example here. Alright, so we create A star new, we add points, and then we connect the points. Alright. So the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this a function. Create A star map. Razedge says another cool part of A star, though probably not useful for this project, is that you can define different weights to tiles. So the path will try to avoid certain tiles, things we can still use them. Yeah, that is nice, and I've done that before in my own personal implementation of A star. I'm not sure if. Okay, it does look like it does have some cost. Got it. So the algorithm prefers points with lower weight scale to form a path. Okay, so then yeah, this does have weighting implemented as well, which is nice. So then yeah, it's a nice little tool to be able to say like, oh, this lava has a weight of 100, while the grass has a weight of 1, while the rocks have a weight of 5. 10, whatever. And so it will try to like avoid taking the lava if at all possible, but it will take it if there's no other way to navigate around the map, something to that effect. So it is yeah, it is nice to have that kind of functionality. Alright, so we want to add points, we want to connect them, and then we want to just get a path. So, and I'd like to visualize this if possible, so I'm going to see if I can do that as well. So create an A star map, that's the first thing we're going to do. So basically what we want to do is we want to loop through, I guess, each tile and make a point for that tile. So that's the first step. So I think I did something like that, yeah. So we say if tile map is not null. Actually, we'll just do this. There we go. Tile map is not equal to null. We really want to loop through, I guess, just like maybe the first layer, tile layer 1, because tile layer 2 is going to be other things. Tile layer 1. Well, no, I guess we don't want to loop through the tiles because that's the entire point. That's what we're trying to avoid doing. We're trying to loop through the solid areas because the tiles may or may not exist. where we really want them to. Yeah, tile layer 1 has some wall tiles, wall graphics. Tile layer 2 has objects. So we really want to just loop through an arbitrary space, determine if it's within the solids bodies, and then move from there. Okay. Let's see, is there any way to determine if a point is within a polygon? I believe there is. Let me see. Geometry. Point is inside triangle. Segment intersects segment 2D. Clips the plan. Segments. Let's see. Make atlas. Point is inside triangle. Point is inside triangle. I guess I could use that. Segment intersects convex. That won't work because this is a concave polygon. Triangulate polygon. Okay. Maybe there's another way to do this. My current plan, my current idea is to basically create a A-star node or cell every like 8 pixels, as long as it's within these walls, essentially. So I would like to know if there's some method to know, like, is this point within a polygon, essentially? And that's the real question. Doesn't seem like it. Maybe I can get the physics 2D server to do like an immediate raycast. I seem to remember that being a thing. Let's see, raycast 2D. Force raycast update. Alright, so maybe I can do that. Well, actually, let's think about these two maps. Because in this map, okay, in this map, an upward facing raycast of infinite length would always hit a wall. In this map, the ones that are like if a raycast were to start from here and go straight up, it would not hit a wall. So this is a way to tell, like, oh, is it within, essentially, is it within the polygon? It just do an infinite raycast in any direction, and well, up specifically, and that will basically tell you if it's within a, well, that won't work for these, will it? No. I guess I could do an infinite raycast in all directions. No, that won't work for these. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start with the player. Wherever the player is, that's where we're going to start shooting off, that's where we're going to start creating A-star cells, essentially, because otherwise it could be anywhere, essentially. No? Let's see. Alright, let's do this. Let's not worry too much about whether it's inside or outside, because that's really, I guess, not that important. Let's worry more so about just getting it working. So in this cell, or in this top map, it's similar to, it's similar to this map in that it doesn't matter really, you know, whether it's on the inside or outside of the map. Basically, a lot of the cells are going to be connected here, whereas a lot of the cells aren't going to be connected here. That's fine. So we'll just go ahead and start making A-star points. So what we're going to do, let's go over here. Okay, so did I do that right? Yeah, A-star. Okay. Okay. For X in range. Alright, now we need to know basically how wide is the map. The tile map should contain that data, right? I feel like I did this before and I don't remember if the tile map does contain that data. Tile set. Cell size. Get used cells. Alright, we'll do that. We'll say for cell in tile map. We can just cut this out. 4-Bit Friday says, yo, 4-Bit Friday, how's it going? So for cell and tile map dot get, is it used cells? Yeah, used cells. Okay. That won't work though. We need to get. Oh no, that works. No wait. Yeah, I see. So yeah, we need to get the tile map. Tile layer 1, okay. So, okay, let's start off with this. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, I didn't think that would work. Okay. Okay, so then it gives me 1 through 11, yeah, 3, 2, okay, cool. Alright, so what we're doing here, we're actually going to do it this way. Okay, so if anyone's just joining the stream or watching the video now, essentially, we're trying to manually make pathfinding because we need to update it depending on positions, arbitrary positions that aren't locked to a tile set or anything like that of objects, like objects that have static bodies. So basically, like, you have something that's solid, it's in the way of the player, you know, and it's something that's not part of the navigation polygon, he should be able to walk around it. Very straightforward. This shouldn't be that hard, it's just a matter of getting it right. So a star map, I don't like that star map. Better. Okay, nav map equals null. Okay, nav map. Okay, so we have the cell. So what we want to do now is follow this example where we add a point. So we say nav map dot add point ID 0. ID plus 1 at point ID vector 3. That should be enough. Cool. Alright, now vector 3 should be something like this. And we want to multiply that by the tile map. Alright, so this is going to be the tile set. Tile set uses tiles. TS dot get. I thought there was like a get width. Get width. Is there not? I guess I could use this map to world. All right, let's try this. Alright, no crash. That's good. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. 4-Bit Friday says, oh man, I just learned you can play live YouTube streams at faster speeds. What? Really? Does that mean we can see into the future? Yeah, let me know how this turns out. tell me how it turned out at the end. I feel like it's gonna work. Alright, so what we have here, oh, it's cell size, that's what I was looking for, I think. Alright, so what we have here should work. Let's see. How many did it actually go through? It went through 2,639 tiles. Okay, so that's right. So now what we want to do, 4-Bit says, no, it went back to the normal playback when it caught up after like 15 seconds of 1.5x faster. I see, okay. So now what we want to do is connect points that are near enough to each other. Get point connections. Huh, it's too bad. It'd be nice if there was some sort of like generic connect function that connected points based on their location or something like that. That's kind of like a huge part of this process. Well, it's not that huge, but it's a nice thing to add. Alright, so what we have to do, let's say P1 in navmap dot. Yeah. Alright, so points, get points, is that right? Get points, yes, okay. So this is going to loop through basically all pairs of points and compare their positions. We say if P1 is not equal to P2, then what we can do is say and P1 minus P2 dot length. Wait, no, these are numbers, right? So we want to get the position. This doesn't explain anything. I'm not sure if this is. I guess this is an array of all IDs. This is annoying. All right, print P1. I'm not sure what this is. If this is an array of points or this is an array of positions. Should be an array of point IDs, I guess. They're IDs, okay. So we want to get the positions. Get point position. Map get point position. P1. P2P is P2P. P if P minus P2P dot length is less than. All right, now I wanna ideally have this be as generic as possible. I think this is gonna go back to here where we get the cell size. So just to make sure I'm not stupid or crazy, let's see, print TS cell size 8 by 8, perfect. So we're gonna assume that one of those is basically it's gonna be the same. It's 8 by 8, so it's not gonna be any kind of weird tile size, I guess. So let's see, cell size 0. P navmap dot connect points. P1, P2, true. As by default, okay. Alright, so this should give us the beginning. This should give us the beginning. Wow. No way. It can't no way. Hold on. What's it doing? Why is it freezing? Let's see. Let me go with the smaller map. Let's go with this map, so I can actually see exactly what it's doing. Alright, I think it's not doing something right because it shouldn't be this many cells. 765,441. Alright, well that's why it's taking so long. It should only be a few. Let's see. Oh no, wait. It's like this actually. I'm not sure why the print statement buffers in Godot. Like it should be printing right now, but instead it prints like on the next frame. I'm not sure why. So it's looping through all of these. This isn't that. It shouldn't be that slow. Also, even this feels a little bit big. 832. How many are there in this example? Because this is 320 by 180 divided by 8, 7200. $900. I guess. Is length really that bad? This is not gonna work at all at this rate. Let's see. Let's try this. Better. But this should really be like near instant. I'm trying to see what function there is to like get like the amount of time since the engine started, that kind of thing. Let's try this. Let's try get ticks. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Ooh. It takes... It's taking like a full second and a half to make this A star. Just this. And how many does it? Creates 880. Is that the exact number that I came up with? I thought I came up with 900. I have 16. It's 160. 16 by 9, or 320 divided by 8. So that's 40 cells. That's 22 by 22 and a half as well. 320, 16, 9, 180. Yeah. 900. 880. Oh, because it's half, right? This isn't good. Stepa says RIP performance. Yeah, RIP performance. This is trash, dude. Like, this is horrible. I mean, and I'm not doing anything that crazy. Like, this should be a relatively easy thing that really shouldn't take that long. I mean, 880. Like, this is a pretty straightforward test, a pretty straightforward use case where I just need to basically loop through and create a point for every tile going across and going down, and then just link those together that are close enough. Well, let's do this. And I don't think Godot's this slow. Dang, that took like 180 milliseconds right there, just looping through the points. Okay, let's do this. So I know that there's like specific array types. Array. I know there's like where is it at? Optimized for memory usage, does not fragment the memory. But this is not it's not that big of a deal. It's not that much. Let's see. Okay, so we're looping through points. Point 1 in points, point 2 in points. If they're not the same, then we continue. I mean, there's not really much else. I mean, this is pretty bare bones in terms of a function. Like, there's not really more to this. Yeah, I'm not too sure what else I can do about this to get this to work. It might just be impossible, like actually impossible. Let me go ahead and try to render the points on screen. I'm wondering if there's more than I expect. No, 880 is correct. That's the correct number. It's not like I'm making more of them than I need to. And this is just... Alright, hold on. I can't... I gotta... Let me try to make this a little bit more generic. Okay, so we have... We'll say this is an array of data, right? For x in range 880 data... I don't know if I can just do like plus equal x. Print data. No. No? It's placed. Oh, whoops. Yeah, didn't think I could do that. So data append x. All right. So it did do it, and it did. Yeah, it does go up there. Shield Hero, sup? What are you working on? I'm trying to basically implement A-star pathfinding, like pathfinding, so that you can click on somewhere on the map, and then the player character will automatically walk to that point. I'm doing it myself because I need to take into account objects that aren't tiles. I need to take into account objects. Shield Hero says earlier showed that the stream was removed or something, and then it showed up again. Yeah, sorry about that. That was my bad. I was testing out something with Restream and forgot to recreate the event after I deleted it. It was a test. I was planning to stream today. It just, yeah, I messed up. So anyway, what we're trying to do right now is basically see why it's infernally slow to loop through to loop through arrays, it seems like. So let's see, for y in data paths. So this took 1 millisecond to basically make a data, an array of 880 length that has increasing values. So that's fine. I wouldn't say that's too slow or anything. This didn't seem to take any extra time. Okay, for z in data paths. What? Are you seeing? What? Yo, what the heck, bro? Like that? What? Are you seeing these numbers? Am I insane? Hold on. This is insane. Hold on. Are you serious? I might have to report this to GitHub because this does not make. This is not. Oh, my camera's obscuring the numbers. Okay, hold on. I'll put it over here. This I'm kind of going insane. All right, so here's my test. I can't tell if I'm being insane or not. Okay, so I'm gonna I can do it here. I'm gonna go ahead and like comment out all of the non-essential code so that I don't have anything else really happening here. Because what is happening is something that does not make sense by all laws of nature. Okay, so I'm printing basically the number of ticks in milliseconds that the engine has been running. So basically at this point, when I print this out, the number is 1132. I created a data array. I append 880 numbers to it. All the numbers are created right here in this one little loop where it's basically increasing from 0 to 880, or I guess 879. And I loop through the data array twice. Once I do nothing, twice I do nothing. And then I print out the amount of milliseconds the engine's been running. So this way I can know basically how much time did this take. It took 1 millisecond to go from here to here. Fine. If I do this, oh wait, that makes sense. Well, no, that doesn't make sense. If I do that, now it balloons like a full 140 milliseconds. It takes 140 milliseconds? Well, I guess that makes sense, right? 880 to the power of 880. Is that right? But it's like it takes a millisecond every like 50 data, every 50 points of data to loop through. That's ridiculous. Isn't that really slow? Let me see. Let's do something a little bit more manageable. Let's say it's just 50. So it takes a millisecond to loop through 50. If I do 100, it takes 2 milliseconds to loop through 100. If I do 200, it takes 7. Okay, so then, yeah. $22. And then 880 is like 140. I don't know, this is weird. 150 milliseconds. Just to loop through the data. Patrick Stevens says, I divided 880 to the power of 2 by 140 and got 5,531 iterations per millisecond. Isn't that really slow? I don't know. AHS says, I think they favored memory defragmentation and ease of use a bit much with those data types. Maybe? But this is just, well, let me see. Let me see if it helps if I change it from a normal array to a full int array. No. Still roughly 150 milliseconds. I don't think it's a bug now. I think it is just it makes sense how much time it's taking. It's just really slow. I mean, like, that needs to be fixed. It's not a bug, it's just bad. Like, the speed is just not there. Alright, well, what I'm gonna have to do is do this differently, because I can't loop through this and compare the points. I have to basically assume... Yeah, okay. I just have to go back and assume that this process... I just have to change my approach. Shield Hero says, "Did you change your nav mesh approach?" Yeah. Yeah, I did. I'm doing this basically manually. So I guess it's fine. It's fine. When the limitations of the engine or the limitations of the language are a bit too much, then we have to kind of rethink how we do things, and things are a little bit different, a little bit more like you're working with an engine made like you're working with like a really old console or something, I guess. So what I'm thinking is, essentially, if we already added the point, then we already know that there's other points, right? Like let me see if I can... Yeah, I gotta kind of visualize this a little bit for myself. Okay. So, like, if we add a point here, right? Well, the entire idea is that we're adding points like this. So we're already adding points like this. We're already placing them down. So if we're already placing them down, then we already know that the one before essentially is the one to the left, and the one in the future is the one to the right. Shield Hero says release mode is really fast though. Oh, I just want to make sure I was on the stable version, but you mean like the release build of the game. Well, let's see if this is doable then. It might just be, well, I can't, this will kill my iterability. I can't even leave it like that. So I think I have to continue, I have to kind of optimize it for myself as I use the engine to make the game, even if the release mode is fast. Salty Sandwiches says, I finally managed to catch a SolarLune stream. Hello, thank you very much for stopping by. And yeah, thanks. Hello. So I'm thinking that basically, if we already are placing our nodes like this, then we already know they're there. So basically, we just have to connect them, like this node is connected to this node, the one before, as long as you're greater than 0, essentially. We'll have to basically wrap it around for the correct like edge cases for the border nodes, but for the most part we can just say like, oh, the one to the left, the one before, the one with the lower ID of by 1, that is a neighbor. So let's try that. Connect points, okay. If ID is greater than 0. Okay, so we'll just do this. So now what this does is it should basically do something like this. Right? So the white, this node is connected to this one is connected to this one, this one's connected to this one, this one is connected to this one. So we'll have to fix that by hand, but not by hand, but we'll have to fix that and say basically, if you're on this row, on this column, then you should not look to the left. If you're on this column, don't look to the... well, if you're not on this column, don't look to the left. If you're on this column, don't look up. But otherwise, we can just connect them all like that. Now... HS says, maybe it would be still be helpful to let the devs know about the issue. I think a non-trivial amount of people run into performance issues like this and give up on Godot. I don't know if it's a non-trivial amount per se, but I think you are correct that it needs to be resolved. This is abysmal performance. I'm not even trying to do this every frame. I'm just trying to do this once. Like, you know, for one frame to loop through 880 to the power of 2 points of data. We're not even talking about like nodes or anything like that you have to unpack and that, you know, you have to reference multiple places. I'm talking about just numbers, just like 0 compare with 1, 0 compare with 2, 0 compare with 3, or, you know, 0, well, yeah, 0 compare with 1, 0 compare with 2, 0 compare with 3, and then 1 compare with 0, 1 compare with 2, 1 compare with 3. Like, that should be able to be done in, you know, 40 milliseconds. Like, it should be so fast, and it's completely not. It's really bad. So yeah, I don't know how to approach it, because I feel like people know that the performance is bad at this stage, so it's like, I feel like let's not get bogged down on, I guess, the theory or the politics of Godot, because I feel like it's, if I point it out to the developers, it's just going to be like, rewrite your logic in something more performance efficient. I shouldn't have to do that. Like, you know, the language should be performance efficient enough to accomplish most general purpose, you know, setups. So I don't know if I will let people know, because I feel like they know already, and if I say it again, they're just gonna be like, hey, use C#, you know, write in C# or write in C++ or something. It's like, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Salty Sandwiches says, may I ask exactly what's going on? Essentially, I'm making my own navigation mesh to pathfind. So if you click on somewhere on screen, the player will walk there and walk around stuff. Shield Hero says, if all else fails, use multi-threading. What was bad about the nav mesh? The problem with the nav mesh is that you can't subtract a shape out of the navigation mesh. Like, once it's created, it's set. So like, if your navigation mesh of your room is something like this, right? And you have a block in the center, like, you know, you have a you know, like a pool, right, in the center. If you say, okay, go from this point to this point, it will just walk across, unless the navigation shape cuts that area out like this. If it doesn't cut it out, then you can just walk through it. If it does cut it out, then it will properly navigate around like this, right? But if it doesn't cut it out, then it'll just walk straight through. So the problem, that's essentially the issue, is that in my game, the navigation mesh is this area. Well, I guess there's two sides of this problem. One is, in my game, the navigation mesh can be the area where the player can walk. It also can be just nothing, and the meshes are areas that the player can't walk. It's really inconsequential either way, because it's you're just going to walk into you're just going to walk, you know, through the navigable space. But fundamentally the issue is that basically, when you have a navigation mesh, you can't make a hole in it. It supports holes, but it can't make a hole in the mesh, like live. Not really. Shield Hero says, navigation mesh does support holes. Yeah, it does. Let me confirm and dig my FTL clone on how I did that. Yeah, it does support holes. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue is that basically, as far as I can tell, most people use tile sets, which is fine, but they use a navigation mesh inside of the tile set. So basically, for each tile, there's a navigation polygon that determines whether it's walkable and what parts are walkable. And when they all get put together, they become a navigation polygon. That's fine, because you can subtract pieces or add pieces to that polygon by simply adding or removing tiles. But if your game isn't tile based, or if your game if the tiles in your tile set don't have navigation tiles assigned to them, you're gonna have issues. That's basically what I'm running into now, is the tiles in my tile set don't have navigation shapes associated with them, which is fine, because I reuse tiles in different ways. Sometimes things are walkable, sometimes they're not. It depends on basically just the map on, you know, where you can walk, and it's not always a walkable space. So essentially, the way that people usually like create holes in navigation meshes seems to be to use a tile set and like substitute a tile for another one. But if you want to make a hole that doesn't align with the tile, or if you want to make a hole based off of an object like a dresser or a table, something that you can move, or something that is just a solid static body, that doesn't work. There's no such method, as far as I can tell, to make a hole in a navigation shape such to basically disallow the player from walking around a certain location, a certain shape. So all that, it's a lot there, but essentially, like, I can't make a hole in this. That's basically what the problem is. Like, you can make a polygon, right? But like, how do you make a hole in a polygon? Like, there's no function to make a hole in it. I don't want to like get into like BSP and stuff to actually make a hole in a polygon, like, for real. I just want to say, like, don't walk there. Because if you just put a solid object there, and say get a path from here to here, it will just walk through the solid object. It'll just get stuck on it. That's why I'm making my own A star, and that's why I'm running into this rather frustrating, we'll say. Well, not frustrating, but just poor performance with GDScript from what I'm seeing. I'm not sure if I'm just missing something really obvious, but it seems like it's just extremely bad speed, which is, I mean, that's what games are all about. It's, you know, running fast. That's kind of the point. All right, nav map, connect points, ID -1. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna try to draw this so I can actually see if this is even like working a little bit. Let me see if I can find that function to do that. Okay, so we're gonna try this. Point. Salty Sandwiches says, what is your final solution? For now, I'm gonna just kind of visualize it so I can see how it's working. My final idea is basically to place nodes for pathfinding, connect them by basically just looking for the one back in the list. Like this is, you know, let's say node 16 here, have it connect to node 15, have node 15 connect to node 14, and basically they connect this way, and then we just need to connect them vertically. We can do that by subtracting the ID, as long as it's not, well, we can basically do that by subtracting the ID by the number of nodes going across, because we know how big the game board is. We know like there's so many nodes that are created horizontally and vertically, so then we can just basically be like, okay, so there's, you know, 16 boards nodes across, there's 8 nodes down, so basically if your ID is greater than 16, then connect to the one minus 1, that's the one to the left, and then connect to the one above by connecting to the one with an ID of your ID minus 16, which would be this one, and then that would basically connect them all like this. And then once they're connected, that's basically it. That's what we're looking for, is this kind of map. And then maybe diagonals too. Salty Sandwiches says, isn't there a way to do that with matrices? I'm not sure what you mean by matrices. You mean like mathematic matrices? No, that's... I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean like arrays? Shield Hero says you're using ID to determine if it's solid or not. I'm just using ID to basically connect the nodes. I need to do more with the actual node to determine whether it's walkable or not. But I'm just trying to connect it and get a map first. After I do that, then I can basically say like, okay, now, you know, don't have the like have nodes that are have the nodes that are basically like between walls be not walkable. Like it'll take a little bit to get to that point. Right now I'm just trying to kind of get in there. Salty Sandwiches says, I mean 2D arrays. Okay, yeah. No. There's not really a way to do this with 2D arrays because this is a 2D array. I'm already using a 2D array. Well, it's actually just a 1D array. I mean, a 2D array and a 1D array are pretty much the same thing. It's just, do you want to store your data in 2 arrays or just 1 array? So it's like I could break it up and say, okay, now let's take every 16 pieces of data and put it in a different array. So now we have, or whatever, 32, 100, whatever, and now we end up. I guess it would be 40 actually, 40 and pieces of data and put it into individual arrays. So we end up with a 2D array, but that's not, like, we don't have to do that way. It's the data's already there, so like it's just adding more time to basically move it to a 2-dimensional array. Alright, so that's basically it. That's basically it. Yeah. This is essentially it. What we want to do now is just add this. Let's see. Shooter says, are those 4 points per dial? It's just 1 point per dial. Salty Sandwiches says, personal question, but I'm working on a game again after a while. How do you make sure not to overtake a project that's too ambitious? Set yourself a really harsh deadline and stick with it. Get used to working with smaller projects and working your way up. Like maybe start off on something that takes a week and then 2 weeks, something like that, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. participate in game jams, so you can kind of get used to the idea of like rushing a minimum viable product, and not really focusing too much on like, you know, polish or things like that, but just getting it out. Yeah, maybe finish the game first before you even get to the stage of polishing with graphics that much. That might be good. There's different strategies and ideas. If you don't want to, if you're just starting, I would say like start off with something really basic, and then just kind of examine that and work on that before until you basically reach like the apex of what you could do with the idea. So like just do everything you can before you like add features or levels or, you know, areas or anything like that, or weapons or items or mechanics. Just do as much as you can with what you have, and then, you know, you'll basically see like, okay, that's good enough, we can stop there. Yeah, those are some thoughts. Salty says thanks. No problem. Yeah, okay, from and to. Okay, so this will be a vector 2 as well. Which is going to be map.get point position. Oh, whoops. Oh, okay, this is working. I was like, why is it drawing anything? Okay, so then, yeah, so basically each one is connected to each other one. Okay, and then yeah, just like I thought, it goes all the way back up. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to connect them vertically too. So we say if ID is greater than, and how many goes across. Alright, so we have the cell size. We got, is there anything that says like the map size? I guess we'll use this, get used rect. That might be the closest thing we can kind of get to what I'm thinking of. Yeah, okay. Divided by cell size 0. Something like that might work. Let's see. size. Okay. Doesn't seem like it's working. AOEU says, I have cake and ramen also. Hello. Oh, hello. Hi, how's it going? That sounds really good. I want some cake. I want some ramen, man. Alright, let's see what we got. Five. No. What is this? 40. Oh, okay. It's already there. Okay, cool. All right, this is closer. This is closer. This is closer. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're missing this connection up here, so we want to do greater than or equals here. And then we want to basically say if your x is 0, essentially. ID percentage map width. So basically we don't want to do this. So this is because like 0, 39, 40, right? So ID percentage, that's modulo. So ID modulo map width is not equal to 0. Yeah, so that I think I should do it. Nope. It doesn't like int and float. Salty Sandwiches says, why do you need the A star? It's pathfinding. So A star, it doesn't have to be A star specifically, but the A star already does pathfinding, so that's what it does. I mean, since A star does pathfinding effectively, it makes sense to leverage that rather than making my own pathfinding system. Even though I've done it before, and it's what I implement is usually A star. Basically, A star pathfinding would allow me to walk around things for the player dynamically. If ID is greater than equal to map width, ID map. What's not working with this? What was the failure point? Let's see. Salty Sandwiches says, oh, I see, I thought it was for some enemy system. No, well, A star is used in AI for enemy movement or just movement for mobs in games in general, but it's mainly for pathfinding, so it's not necessarily, or just navigating between 2 points. So it's not necessarily for enemies specifically. It can be used for NPCs, the player, paths between objects, whatever. Everything. Let's see. Invalid operands, int and float. So why doesn't it like map width? Okay, I guess it must be a float. Okay. Better. Alright, cool. So this is basically it. It's laggy, super laggy because we're drawing each node and each connection. But this works. This should work. So now what we want to do is we want to actually basically invalidate connections. So now the way that this is working is working fine, but what we want to do is basically say, like, if there's something in the way here, like this, like some kind of wall or whatever, you know, maybe there's something on this point, this connection here needs to be turned invalid. So we know, oh, we can't go that way. Now, what I'm thinking is of doing raycasts. We can just basically do a raycast and yeah, like basically do a raycast, set the raycast position to be the A star points, and then cast in the direction of the connection. If it hits something, then we basically invalidate that connection. So let's see if we can get that to work. Let's see. Raycast 2D. I thought there was a way to do a raycast without actually making a raycast node, but I don't. Maybe that's not the case. Let's see. This might work. Shield Hero says, I noticed that your tile map is way smaller than your array. I'm not sure what you mean. You mean this? The tile map covers. The tile map is this entire thing. This is the entire tile map. It's basically a full screen. This is just the area that you're looking at in this particular room, but this is the smallest tile map that will ever basically be in the game. It's going to be a full screen. Sheila Hero says, if generating the A-star map takes long, you can generate it and save it in some format and load it instead of generating it every time. That's true. But I don't know if it would be a payoff, because, I mean, when it comes to it being slow, it's not because it's like, it's not through the generation process, it's because it's basically just looping through the necessary elements, the arrays and the elements of the arrays to basically create the map. I think that would be necessary if I was loading it from a file, or loading it from some other source as well, or rather, loading it from some other source anyway. Shield Hero says, you can do raycasts through code, but you don't want to use them, especially not for 880 to the power of 2. I guess I should have figured as much. Let's see. So then how do we know if a cell is valid or not? I guess we can loop through every object and see if the A star point is within it. That's fine, I guess. But the only real question with regards to that actually, yeah, I guess that should work. So yeah, the only real question with regards to that is how we know if something's within a collision body 2D. Checks whether a point is inside any shape. The shapes the point is inside of are returned in an array containing dictionaries with the following fields. That might work. Salty Sandwiches says, how about a map of the level saved as an image file or another format where a pixel is a tile? I'm too tired to... my brain isn't fully comprehending that. Like, I'm trying. I'm really trying to understand what you mean. A map of the level saved as an image file or another format where a pixel is a tile. Well, that's a way to do things, but that's just additional work. Because I still would have to actually generate the A-star pathfinding. I still would have to generate it. I generate it and then store it in an image, and then load the image, and then create the A-stars. That wouldn't really help, I don't think. But thank you. Shield Hero says, rule of thumb is that you separate your collision from your graphics. That's correct. That's what I'm doing now. The collision and the graphics aren't the same. But the thing is, it's not the way that the collision is. It's not tile based. The collisions aren't tile based in my game. It's based off polygons. They're not tiles. The tiles have no collision. I have a solidity mesh that basically determines where the player can and cannot walk. So, but this might work. Oh, that's right. I don't need to do a raycast from every cell to every other cell. I just need to do a raycast from every cell to each of its neighbors. So a raycast would work, and it needs to be a raycast because it needs to check for walls. Because walls are basically rays, or they're lines. It's not a block. It's not a tile. So I can't simply check to see like, oh, is there a solid object here, or is this point colliding with anything? Because this point isn't colliding with anything. It's a ray. HSS, can you do some basic tile collisions to start to get rid of a bunch of points out of the gate, and then do raycasts for the rest? Well, I probably can like optimize it somehow, but for now I just want to get it working. Once it works, then we can see if it's necessary to optimize it more, and then if so, we can optimize it. So what we're gonna do, Shield Hero says the advantage of tiles is that you use a grid-based movement. Maybe you need to rework it so that you use an array instead of a mesh. That's not really the advantage of tiles. The tiles are used to, I mean, like, that's one way to think about it, but tiles are really a method of reusing existing graphics, right? So you have something like a grass tile, rather than making a full level image for your, 500 maps, you can just make a grass tile and then use that little tile in all of your maps. The game does not necessarily have to be tile based. There are many games that have tiles, but that aren't tile based. Like in as an example, I don't think it's actually tile based. It might use tile positions, and the player's position, it might like round it down to a tile to kind of confirm his location in the world in some respect, but the entire game is not like it's a grid-based movement. It's a very smooth vector-based movement. So you can use grid-based movement with tiles, but you do not have to use grid-based movement with tiles. You can use non-grid-based movement with tiles. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we need to get the physics 2D space. Okay. I think it's accessible from the tree, right? HS says, so with your A-star pathfinding, can you still keep that smooth movement, or will it only work from point to point? It will be point to point, but it's really made for mobile devices more so, just to make it easier to move around. In normal gameplay, you can just move using the arrow keys, or you can click with the mouse. But when you click with the mouse, or when you touch on a mobile device, it's going to use the A-star pathfinding to basically navigate around the world. No, okay. I was thinking if there's like another way to do this, but no, there's not. Let's see, how do we get state? Okay, so the viewport has the world 2D, which has access to the direct physics state. Okay. Studio says raycaps are really expensive. On top of the loop, that's 880 times 4 times. Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably so. I can't really think of any other method to approach this though, because this is essentially a shape. These are shapes. I can't. I'm trying to see if there's another way to do this. I think what I'm going to have to do is think about this a little bit more. I'm not going to probably do this with tiles, just because I have this workflow set up already. But It's possible that I can do this a different way. Yeah, I'll have to think about this a little bit more, I think, because it's just like I'm close, but the problem is that tiles are definitely a way to approach things, but I don't want to use them just to use them. I want to use them because they're the right tool for the job. I haven't used them so far for holding collision data because the collision data is separate from the tiles. And as I recall, there were some issues with tiled being able to import the tiled plugin being able to export the collision data properly. I think it was like the collision shapes weren't rotating when I would rotate the tile. That's why I went ahead and did this method of basically, or the navigation mesh wasn't rotating the tile. Like something wasn't working correctly with the way the tiled importer was importing the tile information. Either the collision information wasn't importing correctly, or the navigation mesh information wasn't importing correctly. So I'm not sure which one of those it was. I think it was the collision. And that's why I went through this. I'm doing this method of basically drawing the collision shape, which is fine. It works fine. So what I'll do, I'll have to consider this a little bit further to see if maybe there's another way to do this without even maybe using A-star pathfinding. Maybe I can pathfind through some other method. We definitely got some work done, but yeah, it's definitely not working as ideal as I would like. Yeah, we have the data. Let's see, if the importer can import the map, you can either read the IDs and determine which is solid or not, or you can make a separate layer that's within literally a filled and an empty tile. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, I don't think, because basically if you read the IDs and determine which is solid or not, that means that you have to like keep track of which IDs are solid. Like you literally have to, I don't know if you mean like the numerical IDs, in which case you have to write down like, you know, these are solid, these are not, that kind of thing. Also, I have diagonal, like they're not, it's not a straight collidable or not tile. Some are diagonal, some are shaped differently. So that's not gonna work in that case. Like staircases wouldn't work for that kind of thing. I mean, it would be it would be playable, but it was just it wouldn't be as smooth like this. If you just make a separate layer with a filled and an empty tile, that's just an additional tile layer for solidity. Which, I mean, I could do that, I suppose. That's doable. I could do that, but it still has the same problem of not supporting any other angles apart from just right angles. AHS says, how about tile layer not for the collision data per se, just the impassable tiles, which are then used to discard points from the A-star map, after which that layer is freed? Nah, I don't think so. I'm wondering if maybe I can make a specific layer, a layer specifically for pathfinding. I don't want to do that. I want to have it be automatic. That's the entire point, is that it should be basically automatic. It should be straightforward and super easy. I gotta think about this a little bit more. I gotta think about this a little bit more and determine exactly what's necessary to get what I want out of the system, because it works fundamentally well enough where it's a playable game without pathfinding. So I don't want to like make a change to everything just for pathfinding. Like, I'd rather not have pathfinding than basically change all of the maps and the collision system so that it doesn't work the way it currently does, but instead uses tiles. Like, that's so much additional work for no real payback, except for the fact that you can now click and walk around stuff. It's like, is there really no other way to do this? So either I figure out another way, either I get the current way working, I figure out a different way, or it's just not gonna have pathfinding. Like, it's not that critical. It ain't like that big of a deal. But I feel like this is more of a conceptual problem than a just throw manpower at it problem. There's nothing fundamentally wrong, as far as I can tell, with the way I'm making the game, as far as I can tell. So there should be a way to basically get this to work properly. Alright, I'll have to think about this a little bit more. Thank you very much for the help, everybody. I don't want to just be thinking for like 30-40 minutes or an hour or something while you're trying to watch me stream. You know, trying to watch the stream and see what's going on. So definitely appreciate your coming through. And yeah, I'll have to take this under advisement and think about how I can properly implement this. So thank you very much for watching. I've been SolarLune. It's been a real pleasure to continue hopefully working on this game and getting it down to the wire here, and I'll have to catch you guys on the flip side next time. Thank you very much, and I'll see you. Bye.